Welcome back to the Enfield Diaries, and today's task is to remake yet another set of bumpers from this set of new material and a little bit of old bumper, and we've got to cut and weld and make it the right sort of shape. First job is to cut a series of slots which allows this bend to be made, and now we're going to weld these slots up. You can see that this isn't a bad match to start with, but we're going to do a little bit of realignment around the middle. Quite happy with that now. Next job, I need to cut these lines to try and form this curve to get that section round the corner. I cut quite a few slots in the side of the bumper, sometimes quite close together, sometimes with little V-shapes to enable the corners to be even tighter. It was a bit of a tricky situation going from the bench here through to the actual car to keep checking. It took quite a long time, but it's pretty satisfying. There was a lot of grinding and slot cutting and a lot of hand bending like you see me doing here, and I constantly had to go back to the car to check the fit around the front of the vehicle. I did have to use a hammer to keep the side of the metal straight and to make sure that the curve towards the top was reasonably smooth. It took quite a while this, and I had to weld bits and pieces at a time, but eventually we got there. So I've got my axis holes lined up, and then I'm checking vertically for this corner, and you can see that this section here is pretty much as it should be. So I'm going to weld these ones so that they're nice and solid and they can't move, and then I'm going to deal with the tighter bend a bit further round here. I'm spot welding here because I just need the bumper to be correctly aligned so I can check it on the car. I'm using a fairly high current to get the weld bead to go right through and penetrate the steel. I didn't really want a weld bead on the inside that I had to grind away, but equally so, I didn't really want a line that would corrode or show or cause a weak spot in the bumper at a later date. It's a little bit of a catch-22 situation. This is why you can see me spotting the work, so that I can use the high temperature to get the penetration, but then I didn't blow gaping holes into the bumper. It was much easier to work in short sections. Used a mixture of flap wheels and grinding discs to get the surface back to the standard finish. A lot of grinding took a long time, but worth it. So this end is finished and ground down, while this end, although it's the correct curvature, you can still see all the cut marks that need to be ground down. Just got to finish the ends on both sides, and that's the front bumper complete. Fits nicely. Yet more grinding and flap wheel finishing. So after a long afternoon's work, we have a replica bumper. Still got to do the end corners, but you can see that it fits my existing bumper remarkably well. Bearing in mind this is for my spare car, not the orange car that you see here, I think this is a rather good afternoon's work. Join us next time when perhaps we make the rear bumpers on the Enfield 8000 Diaries.
Do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this content.